From this very stage today, you're going to hear about a PlayStation brand that's really hitting its stride. With 3 great platforms, a flood of new content, a ton of great upgrades and services, and a lineup that features the biggest exclusives in the industry. As many of you have already written, 2008 is the year of the PS3. We have a lot of great things to show you here today, and to kick it off, here's a look at the 3rd generation title from Insomniac Games on PlayStation 3, Resistance 2.
Command, this is Keystone. We have visual on the hostile, requesting permission to engage.
Negative, Keystone. Pull back. Do you copy?
What you're about to see is all footage captured directly from the game. I'm Ted Price, President and CEO of Insomniac Games, and this is Resistance 2.
For Radio USA, this is Henry Stillman. Today, the country shudders in the wake of cataclysmic devastation. Torn by war with a brutal and terrifying enemy, the likes of which we have never seen. This morning, I awoke to the sound of thundering crashes that I thought could only be an earthquake. But as I looked outside, I saw their battleships looming over the city, each one wider than Forbes Field, and each leaving nothing but burning, disfigured wreckage in its wake. Former friends and neighbors now lie in storm drains, limbs twisted in ways I can't begin to describe. This struggle for the very survival of mankind, this struggle that has now reached across the shores of our homeland, this struggle, ladies and gentlemen, may now be forever lost.
That game looks amazing, Ted, as always. Resistance 2 is an epic title that will blow you away and is set to redefine the online gaming experience. And speaking of redefining gaming experience, when historians look back on this time in history and the trends that are shaping the world of digital and technology, one of the first things they're going to be talking about is user-generated content. One of the most exciting possibilities for next-generation consumers is what happens when user-generated content comes full force in the gaming world. We've all seen a glimpse of that future. We call it LittleBigPlanet. As you can see behind me, we're running a special level of LittleBigPlanet that was created by the team at Media Molecule to help us illustrate a few points. How's it going, Alex?
Good, thanks.
So far, 2008 has been the kind of year that makes me proud to be in the gaming industry. The combination of innovative hardware, hot commodity software, and a growing consumer interest in HD has helped our industry generate more than $6.6 billion of revenue in the first 5 months of this year alone. In fact, NPD has been estimating that the gaming industry revenue will soar as high as $23 billion in 2008. And the PlayStation brand is a key driver of this growth. With 3 powerful platforms, we have the industry equivalent of oceanfront property with a commanding control of retail shelf space. Once again, we're at the forefront of the expansion of our industry for another year. And for the year-to-date numbers through the month of June, we've sold more than 1.8 million PS3s here in the United States and more than 1.6 million PSPs. And something we've seen before on PlayStation platforms, and only on PlayStation platforms, more than 1.5 million PS2s for a product in its 9th year on the market. In other words, we've sold in more than 5 billion units of hardware across the PlayStation family in the first 6 months of this calendar year. And again, that's just in the United States. That success has been spread out across the globe, not only in North America, but in Europe and Asia as well. And again, with more than 100 million PlayStations and 140 million PlayStation 2 units sold worldwide, as a global company, we're always working to expand our footprint. And today I'm pleased to announce that we're turning our attention south. Starting in 2008, we'll engage in distribution into Latin America as well. We're well on our way to achieving our fiscal year goals outlined back in May of selling more than 9 million PS2s, 10 million PS3s, and 15 million PSPs. At retail, revenue generation is up as well. Since 1995, PlayStation has generated more than $50 billion at retail. To build on the momentum of our PlayStation 3 lineup, I'm also pleased to announce that we're going to be making some new games available on the platform as part of our Greatest Hits program on PlayStation 3. So starting later this year, our best PS3 games will be available at a $29.99 retail, including from our first-party studios, Resistance: Fall of Man, MotorStorm, and Warhawk. And from Activision, Call of Duty 3. From Electronic Arts, Fight Night, and Need for Speed Carbon. From Ubisoft, Rainbow Six Vegas, and Assassin's Creed. And from Bethesda, Elder Scrolls. And lastly, from Tecmo, Ninja Gaiden. So Alex, this is some incredible stuff, and you helped me out a lot. In many ways, the success of PS2 has allowed us to be more aggressive with our approach to PS3. It's been an important incubator for the next generation adoption. And today, we're seeing much more upconversion of PS2 owners embracing PS3. This has always been a platform for the biggest games and the most popular titles. And in 2008, we're introducing more than 130 titles to PlayStation 2. We continue to have incredible support from our developers and publishing partners on PlayStation 2. And here's a quick sample of those titles. We all know PlayStation Network is a great way to enhance a franchise between Blu-ray releases and deliver great add-on content. And as we've discussed, it's a great way to deliver amazing and complete gaming experiences. One of our most popular franchises is getting a little bit of both via a brand new title on the PlayStation Network later this summer. I'd like to introduce you all to Ratchet & Clank Future, Quest for Booty.
So Quest for Booty is a new concept. It's a shorter game at a lower price, and yet it has all the high intensity of one of our AAA titles. We paced it much like a big summer blockbuster film. It's got action, suspense, mystery, and the humor you'd expect to find in a Ratchet & Clank game.
Guys, I'm not looking for any trouble.
Quest for Booty is a continuation of the Ratchet & Clank Future saga. It begins where Tools of Destruction left off, the search for Clank, who was mysteriously abducted by the Zoni. We focus more on platforming, exploration, and we're also requiring players to think a little bit more. Ratchet's got this new ability with this wrench that he carries, where the head pops off, and there's this energy tether that he can use to manipulate distant objects, and generally manipulate the world. Ratchet can also pick things up with his wrench, which he couldn't do before. He can pick up these heliogrubs, which are these creatures that light up when they're scared, and then he can use those heliogrubs to travel through Morrow Caverns, where we have light and dark gameplay. This is a game that will appeal to people who are fans of Tools of Destruction, who want answers about Clank's mysterious disappearance, and it's also going to appeal to people who've never played a Ratchet & Clank game. It'll be a great introduction to what Ratchet & Clank is all about.
We're not interested in filling up our store with titles that nobody wants to play just so we can say we have the most games. I'd like to show you a little bit more about what I mean. I'd like to share with you a new video that shows some of the progress we made and give you a look at what PlayStation Home Experience will be all about. You've already heard about this franchise once today, but we're here to introduce a new title to PSP. One that the talented team up at Sony Bend Studio have been working on, and I'd like to unveil it for the first time. PSP Resistance Retribution.
On July the 11th, 1951, the Americans launched an assault on the eastern coast of England. At least in Britain, the Chimera were defeated. The Chimera launched an attack that overwhelmed all of Europe in a matter of weeks. The original conversion centers were found abandoned in the process of being dismantled by Chimera drones. As we attempt to reverse engineer the complex technologies we find, the mystery of the Chimera only deepens.
Let's take a look at
because we're actually going to show you, for the first time ever, just a sneak peek at what we've achieved so far.
For generations, you've witnessed the battles of the greatest heroes of our time in the pages of DC Comics. Now, step into the world of DC Universe online. Brought to life by legendary comic book artist Jim Lee. Ripped from the adventures of the comics. Straight from the artists that draw them. Experience the DC Universe as never before and harness the true power of your PlayStation 3 system or PC gaming platform. Fight against or alongside Superman, Wonder Woman, the Joker, and all your favorite DC legends as you build your legacy in an epic battle against legions of superpowered enemies. Make the world your weapon. Crush your foes. And become the ultimate superhero or supervillain. The door to the DC Universe has opened. Now is the time to build your legacy. The time has come. The future awaits. The next legend is you.
Last year, we lowered the price of entry on the PS3, and we had a holiday season of blockbusters. We followed that by two of the biggest franchises on PS3 in Grand Theft Auto and Metal Gear Solid. We asked some of our publishing partners and developers to describe how the processing power, graphics, and Blu-ray capability create separation between Sony and every other console out there, and here's what they had to say.
When I think of the PlayStation 3, 2 years ago, it was a pretty new, revolutionary, but new and very foreign to us. We didn't really know a lot what was going on. Everyone was kind of learning at the same time. Now, when we look at it, we feel a lot more at home with the PlayStation 3.
From where we were a few years ago, we've come a long way, and we're just now getting to where we can really start harnessing the superpower there. So I think there's a lot more we can do.
Actually, at this point, we have all of our major game systems using at least partly the SPUs. So that means larger budgets for a designer, which then translate in more AI, more rendering, more physics, more animation, and more meaningful and new gameplay experiences for the players.
For Oblivion, what we tried to do is cram as much through that main processor as possible and just use the SPUs for side tasks. For Fallout, what we're finding is the SPUs are much more important. They just tear through everything you can give them. We put physics, AI, animation on them, and they just eat them alive.
My programmers on POP are the same as were on Assassin's Creed, and comparing their job then to now, it's just night and day. They're so much more efficient, and it's just a much, much easier process for them now.
Sony made a couple of very forward-looking decisions with the PlayStation 3. One is that we don't have to worry about disk space. We have a lot of storage capability that's going to be very useful for Far Cry 2, especially for user-created content.
We are really excited about the potential of the PS3 because we have a lot of ideas internally, and we've just started the collaboration with Industrial Light and Magic, and we really want to push the technology further in games, and this is something that the power of the PS3 will make possible.
It's really almost the sky's the limit in terms of what you can get on there and what kind of content you can put on the disc. You're really only limited by your internal resources.
And the fact that the Blu-ray disc just has effectively infinite storage capacity compared to the competitors just means it's one less thing we have to worry about. It's one more thing that makes development on the PlayStation 3 forgiving and easy.
One of the best things about the PlayStation 3 is that every single one comes with a hard drive. It's really just a gold mine. The more you hack away at it, the more treasure you're going to find underneath the surface. The more power, speed, memory, everything.
It's a really powerful system, and if you have really creative individuals and really great engineers working for you, you're going to be able to do great stuff.
A great thing right now about the PlayStation 3 platform is a lot of the PlayStation 2 consumers have now come over to the PlayStation 3. We're seeing the sports games that people have loved playing on the Sony platforms all along. Now they're going to be able to get that full, rich experience in sports gaming on the PlayStation 3.
I think what you're really going to see is people, when they start pushing their gameplay, their AI, their pathfinding, all those other features of the game, start doing that on the SPU rather than just devoting that to hardcore math.
There's a lot of untapped potential right now in PS3. I don't think there's many games that use even 80% of the SPUs. So I'm really looking forward to really rich experiences and rich, realistic worlds.
I think we're just starting to really scratch the surface of what you can do with the PlayStation. That coupled with the fact that Sony is releasing new functionality and features for us to be able to take advantage of, I think is going to make it real exciting for the future.
I'd like to show you a lineup that will actualize what I've been saying here today, that 2008 is the year of PlayStation 3.
Listen up, Alpha. New Sun is now in position.
What are you doing there? I'm gonna take care of you.
Keep her up, man!
And this is how it begins. are stories all around them.
Yes, it's true. God of War 3 is coming to PlayStation 3. We all know you're clamoring for Kratos, so here's a trailer to whet your appetite.
In the beginning, there was chaos. Our victory brought order to the land, prosperity to mankind. Now, that order is threatened. The sacred halls of Olympus have been breached. Brothers, in the end, he will suffer. In the end, we will triumph. In the end, there will be only chaos.
Let's take a look at Infamous.
It took us all by surprise. Initial blast ripped through a 6-block radius, vaporizing everyone in its path. Everyone except me. While outside, the city fell apart. But inside me, something was beginning. A force I'm learning to control. But the question still remains. Why did I survive? Do I fight the darkness I unleashed? Or be consumed by it?
You've all seen multiplayer online games, you've all played massively multiplayer online games, but you've never seen a massive action online game like this.
MAG will support battles of up to 256 players. With big moments, such as large-scale airborne drops, helo insertions, and multi-front assaults, MAG will deliver a sweeping battle experience using only real players. So now, on behalf of Zipper Interactive, I'm very thrilled to give you this first glimpse into the MAG experience.
Thanks so much, Andy, for introducing MAG to us today. It's hard to imagine that all of this could have come out of a meeting in a Sony Computer Entertainment conference room 15 years ago this week. But Sony changed the rules and introduced the 10-year product life cycle to the industry. Given what we've shown you today, if this is what year 2 of the PlayStation 3 life cycle looks like, imagine years 3 and beyond.